Hi friends, today we are going to social science classroom. Today our topic, a growing middle class in France. A growing middle class in France. As you know, we are studying and discussing about French Revolution. Before we study French Revolution, we have to know what are the causes and reasons for the French Revolution. As a part of it, you have to study about a growing middle class in France. Okay. As you know, in the earlier stage of 18th century, both peasants and workers were staging protest against Louis XVI, the King of France. I mean, the poor people were protesting against Louis XVI, the King of France. But the rich people and educated ones were not ready to enter the revolt. What was the reason of the revolt? Revolt against high taxes and food scarcity. As you know, Louis XVI, the government, clergymen and nobility also imposed different kinds of taxes and feudal dues on the common people, especially third estate. So the poor people among the third estate were staging protest against Louis XVI, clergy and nobility. Okay. Then in 18th century, in the late half of 18th century, a new group of people emerged who were called middle class. They were prosperous, they were rich people, and they were educated, and they were also philosophers. Okay, they were thinking about new ideas to adopt in the case of France. So we can study in detail about middle class. What was the economic source? The economic source of middle class are two. First one is overseas trade. Through overseas trade, middle class people amassed a lot of wealth. So they were prosperous and rich people. Secondly, they were manufacturing woolen and silk textiles. Silk dresses they were manufacturing. And they were selling for the rich people in the France itself or exporting those textiles into foreign countries. And last one, their main belief. What was the main belief for middle class? Or what was the reason for the emergence of middle class? Is that the main belief that no group in society should be privileged by birth. As you know, many privileges were given to both nobility and clergymen during 18th century in France. So middle class thought that any group of people should not be given any kind of privilege on the basis of their birth. Many new ideas were contributed by our middle class. First one is freedom. Second, equal laws for all. Third, opportunities for all. These three ideas are adopted by the middle class in French community during 18th century. There were a lot of philosophers who contributed these ideas. We mention only three of them. Who are the main philosophers among middle class? First one, John Locke. His famous book is Two Treatises of God. Second philosopher, Jean-Jacques Rousseau. It's a French name, so we have to pronounce in French language. Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Third, Montesquieu. So these three philosophers have played a significant role in the outbreak of French Revolution, and they have given the intellectual support for the French Revolution. Next, we can study the thoughts of each philosopher in detail. First of all, John Locke. What is the name of his book? Two Treatises of Government. Two Treatises of Government. And what is the content of that book? The content of that book is we should oppose the divine right and absolute right. What is divine right? Divine right is a form of government in which the ruler believes that he has got the ruling power directly from the God. What means this is a form of government in which the ruler controls all parts of the government or all the machineries of the government. These two systems were critically analyzed by John Locke. Rousseau thought that a form of government based on a social contract between people and their representatives should be adopted. What is his theory? If a monarch or king rules over a particular area or of a particular country, there should be a contract or agreement between people and the ruler. Okay. So the ruler is always responsible for the needs of people. Rulers are actually representatives of the people. Okay. Third, Montesquieu, his book is The Spirit of Laws. What is the content of that book? Division of power between legislative, executive and judicial. The rule should not concentrate in one hand or in a single king, but the rule should be divided between legislative, executive and judicial. What is legislative? It is a body of people, or it is a group of people who frame the policies of the country. It is a group of people who frame the policies of the country. Second, executive, who implement the policies of the country. Third, judicial, who are controlling the legal affairs of the country. And these three philosophers have contributed much for the outbreak of French Revolution, and people and their thoughts actually accelerated the outbreak of French Revolution.